Welcome to Patch Notice. I'm your host, Jacky, and today here on the Dead Air channel, I'm going to be taking you through the Deadlock update for the 30th of August. The biggest change, and by far the coolest, is the fact that Valve have added a whole new movement mechanic to Deadlock. You can now wall jump. It will use no stamina and allow you to directionally bounce yourself off of any surface. You can use this to fling around off of walls and express far more skill when it comes to controlling your momentum and movement. As you can see with jumps like this, it's possible to use it in all sorts of creative ways to navigate around the cursed apple. Using it with synergy is a big part of the new update as well, comboing wall jumps with rails, slides, and ropes. That's right, ropes. The new climbing mechanic that was also introduced alongside wall jumping. All over the streets of New York, these ropes have popped up in some new locations and replacement locations for bounce pads, giving you opportunities to climb up to new areas of verticality without burning stamina. Fighting on high ground now becomes far easier for a majority of heroes in the pool. And you can fight on the ropes as well, shooting your gun whilst climbing them. On screen now is a few of the different rope locations that have popped up over the map. Bounce pads have also had some new locations to make up for the ones that have been removed. Rather than you going up in a straight line, those will now be ropes, whereas bounce pads are used for traversing far gaps and distances. Talking of traversing far gaps and distances, teleporters have had a huge overhaul. Not only have they received a new model that seems to be based on the police core box from England back in the early 60s, and of course the classic TARDIS from Doctor Who, it even includes an Easter egg alluding to Portal 2's logo. So Valve paying homage to some of their older games. But they've also changed how teleporters work in terms of the locational teleportation. Let's have a look at the quick map that I've whipped up to show you how things are now working in terms of the teleporter locations. You will now have 8 possible teleporters across the map that teleport you between 4 different routes, from Amber and Sapphire lanes, with some of them remaining similar, but a lot of them changing in terms of their overall location, now being down on street level. But getting off of street level is an important part of tonight's patch, because Valve have opened up multiple rooftops across New York, giving you new vantage points across the entire battlefield, allowing you to take fights in completely new ways. Alongside that, there's breakable locations up on these vantage points as well, providing you new opportunities to gather souls and power-ups. Guardians have also undergone some changes in tonight's update, namely itemization based off of flex slots. Flex slots have been changed so you no longer get awarded one for taking a single set of enemy-based guardians. Now you have to destroy all enemy lane guardians to receive your flex slot. AP also had some changes, as killing guardians will no longer award you ability points. Instead, you'll receive them at set soul levels throughout the game, progressing when you hit each cap and being rewarded AP at these soul levels: 3,500, 5,200, 8,000, and finally 9,700. A big issue currently in the scene is that people were abusing pausing after the game went public. Valve have fixed that by making it so you individually can only use the pause once per game and at most 3 times per team. So now you know, stop abusing it. Meanwhile, in the sandbox, Valve have added a gym, so you can prove that you're the king of fighters and train your parrying with a bot that will automatically attempt to heavy punch you as soon as you step inside of the dojo. A cool way to train your timing on parrying without having friends connecting to a local listen server. They also went ahead and added a brand new tier 3 weapon item called Headhunter. Landing headshots will deal bonus damage and it will heal you for the damage dealt. One for you Lady Geist mains out there, or potentially Vindictors if you want to be hitting those big taps. Viscous also received a gun rework. He's now joining some of the other heroes along the lines of Shiv and Yamato that have alternate fires on their weapon. With your right click, you'll now spend more ammunition to fire out an AoE based shot that will explode goo everywhere and deal damage in the surrounding area. You cannot headshot with it, but overall it's pretty powerful and feels like it's given a little bit more flavor to Viscous as an individual hero, rather than just having a similar gun to Kelvin. They've also brought his reload time more in line with other heroes and tweaked the weapon itself. Something that needed tweaking though, by community demand, was Ivy's new ultimate airdrop being able to pick up 7 and bring him as a bug zapper that would zap everyone. Valve wanted to leave it in, as it is a cool way to play the game, so they've tweaked it in this manner, making it so allies deal 50% less damage when they're being carried in airdrop. Silence no more, however, as the silence that was brought in the previous patch that meant you couldn't cast in air has been removed, allowing you to once again cast freely when being carried. But they have nerfed it, making it longer to cast and slower in terms of its maximum move speed when you're in air as Ivy's airdrop. Destroying base guardians will now also correctly display an express icon beneath the zipline, educating newer players that ziplines get a free boost when you take out base guardians on that line. Valve also added hero stats. You now have a completely revamped hero stat page where you can look through games played, souls denied, damage, all sorts of different things to give you an overall sense of how your deadlocking is going. Soul Urn. For the Soul Urn, the delivery point has now been marked as red. You can see it has a red indicator now, so you are able to easily identify where to pick up and where to drop off the Soul Urn. No more confusion there. I'm sure you know where you're going. Sprint bonus was, however, increased from +2 to +3, meaning that you're even faster now when shepherding the urn to its drop-off designated spot. Golden statues have had their drop rate increased by 6%, so it's even more lucrative to make sure you're smashing them open at every opportunity like you're doing your best Legend of Zelda cosplay. Walker's minimum range to attack has once again been brought back to 32 meters. It was reduced to 30 in a previous patch, but we go back to where we were before that, allowing you to have a little bit more distance between you and the walker when dealing damage to them. Here's one for players that hate Abrams though. Parrying cooldown has now been reduced from 6 seconds to 5 seconds, making it easier to get those quick stuns off and chain them together. So remember, 1 second of difference could save your life on a parry. More language support has been added to Deadlock, with German, Polish and Korean now being supported with the game. Matchmaking times are now opening 1 hour earlier for all regions on weekdays and weekends. Stability performance for the client and server has also apparently been improved across the board. This is fantastic news and always a welcome addition to the game. Great to see Valve are improving Deadlock in all facets every update. Streamer mode has been added now the game is allowed to be discussed publicly and finally streamed. This will hide player nameplates in-game, making it so it's harder to know where your streamers are and track them down to troll them. Visuals and audio. Let's step into this segment where I'll be letting you listen and see the changes that have come in to various effects.
Granting immunity. You want to mess with me? Ground pound! I'm about to ruin your day. Now's our chance! Make your choice. Throwing flask. Alchemical flask. Strike them down.
As you can see, a whole load of sound effects were changed in tonight's patch, and a new line of dialogue, banter between Seven and Lash, was added.
Word on the street is you're some kind of boogeyman.
I'm not interested in chit-chat.
That's fine. The Lash knows how to carry a conversation.
There is no conversation.
The Lash does it again.
They say you have quite the ego.
Mediocre people say lots of unintelligent things.
On this, we can agree. You're the pit fighter, yes?
You mispronounced champion.
How silly of me.
Mistakes happen, Glowstick.
What did you call me?
Glowstick. It's your new nickname.
Call me that again, and I will pop your eyes like grapes.
7 it is.
Really cool to see the characters interacting. What else is cool is Valve added another Curiosity Shop variant. If you'd like to hear the full version of that song, it's available on the Dead Air channel now. But let's move into map changes and see what's changed visually here with some before and after comparisons. Tonight's patch actually has some of the biggest visual overhauls we've had to Deadlock throughout its entire development period. A lot has changed, from the New York skyline to a lot of the nitty-gritty details as well. You can see things are far more color-coded on a lane-by-lane basis, allowing you to visually identify what lane you're in by the purple, yellow, or blue coloring that's starting to fill up the map. The big statues that were scattered throughout the map towards midside as well with the inner lanes have been knocked down and replaced with some buildings, alongside multiple bounce pads being replaced with ropes inside of this patch as well. A lot of new pop-ups have appeared throughout the map in terms of overall adverts and signage, giving you new bits of flavor and lore. All in all, I think the visual changes we've had in tonight's update are some of the best we've seen, and it shows the direction that Valve is going in with making Deadlock feel more alive and like a hustling, bustling city based on the concept art that we saw a long time ago. If you'd like to hear mine and Blank's thoughts in more detail though on everything that's changed in this patch, including items, balance, and heroes, then please tune into the Dead Air podcast that will be going live every Saturday. For now though, thanks so much for watching Patch Notice. Please like and subscribe. I've been your host, Jacky. Get back out there.